Former Seattle Police Chief Carmen, who resigned in protest last year over police defunding, is urging Seattle voters to demand that candidates outline detailed plans to address crime in the city.
Q13's Brandi Kruse is here. And Brandi, the former chief's remarks coming just a few days after the primary election, probably not a big coincidence there.
Yeah, no, I understand why maybe it wasn't published before. Maybe she didn't want to sway voters into, who they should choose or who they should select. But I think the former chief sees what a lot of us see. She resigned over police defunding, but also in part she resigned because city leaders, specifically Seattle City Council members, weren't listening to her. They weren't consulting her about what police defunding would do, about the consequences of it. And now she sees some of those same leaders running for re-election, doing well in the primary, and possibly could get their seats again. So the chief having this op-ed published in the Seattle Times, the headline, "Where is Seattle's plan to address crime and prioritize public safety?" In it, she appeals to voters. She says, as we head into local elections this fall for mayor and city council, it is important that the candidates, especially the incumbents, articulate what they would do differently in their plan to address public safety. She went on to write, "The final plan from our leaders must be comprehensive, and it must abandon truly baffling ideas previously considered, like allowing theft without consequence." She's referring there to an idea floated by City Councilwoman Lisa Herbold that would have essentially decriminalized most misdemeanors in the city. The chief also bringing up the issue, of course, of police staffing. We know from the chief of police and Mayor Jenny Durkan that the city has lost 200 officers over the past 17 months, that they're on track to lose possibly up to another 100, so totaling 300 officers, which is a huge chunk of the force, particularly at a time when we're dealing with an uptick in violent crime. So Carmen saying, look, we can expect a lot of our officers, but we also have to treat them as part of the solution and treat them as part of the community as well. And I will note, the chief not just saying, hey, do better, come up with a plan. She was also pointing elected leaders to other cities and other politicians who she thinks are doing things that they might look to and maybe steal. In Denver, for instance, the city of Denver, way ahead of Seattle in reinventing its 911 response system, deciding where do officers need to go, where maybe do you need a different type of response. She said they should look to Denver for ideas. And then Eric Adams, who's the Democratic nominee for mayor in New York City, she said has been floating some great ideas during his campaign about letting police focus on police work, but also really harnessing the community in trying to address gun crimes.
I remember going out about 10 years ago, and I did a story about graffiti in the city of Seattle. I went out with a graffiti crew, and their job was, to cover it up. And his point to me was it was the broken window theory. We don't want to have this here because that breeds more of the same. And it seems like we're sort of falling down that spiral right now.
Well, and one of the points that Chief Best made about, for instance, just letting theft go, which was sort of considered by the city council to be a crime of poverty. So they were going to decriminalize instances like that. And Chief Best said it's a wrong message to businesses that they don't matter and that, it's just, $100 worth of things. It's okay. You have insurance or whatever it is. So I think there's some of that, which is you can't just wholesale let the low-level crimes go because it's not good for the city, it's not good for businesses, it's not good for public safety.
Well put. Brandi, thank you.